Okay, I think we're good, even though OBS decided to update this morning. All the buttons are pushed. About the thumbnail. Ugh. No, don't groan along with the song. That makes me want to have to that. Oh God, I can't even talk. That makes me want to have a brand new theme song for the show. Like that's just
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. It's Woke Wednesday, and speaking of things that make us all uncomfortable, buckle up, kiddos.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Where are we going to start? Because there's so many uncomfortable. We might not get to all the uncomfortable things.
Yeah, we're just going to start with the clip. This is the clip in question.
Hi, there's my new favorite client. Just
Okay.
I know, but look, we got to go more than 4 seconds.
It's such awful CGI.
I know, like dude,
it's Gumby, attorney at law.
Dude, well, they're running out of money. Like they spent
apparently.
Well, no, seriously, they spent all that money buying Fox and Marvel and Star Wars and then pissed all in the fans' face. Like they literally had the golden goose. And then they didn't just murder it, they had to murder it and shit on its corpse. And now this is the best thing. Anyhow, just
your signature there. And then just initial. Good. And initials up here.
And that is the correct reaction. He's this.
It's like, what are you doing? I know.
This is a cringe.
He almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1.
That was not the correct reaction. Okay, the man cringed.
I know. Come on, man. We're not even like.
And walked away. Let me clarify something. I don't care how you're flung. This is not how the attorneys in my white shoe law firm are to comport themselves with clients.
Dial it back.
And then did you catch that?
Okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up.
Oh, you are way more fun than my last lawyer. I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
I'll admit I was a little amused by the dial it back.
I heard another YouTuber say, "Look, this was challenging to make She-Hulk's ass very, very yiggly. Took much effort." And I mean,
very, very yiggly.
Yes, it was. They were obviously making fun of, like Russian bot animators.
Obviously.
Anyhow, JDF has joined us live this morning. Good morning. Love a super fan. And look, you know what's really crazy too? Okay, I get it. people do things in their offices, they pull the
In
blinds.
their corner offices with the giant windows.
Well, look, but here's the theoretically though, you can't really see in those windows. I mean, you can, but theoretically you
Right.
can't. But like, no, they pull the blinds, right? They, you know,
Yeah.
like you can hang a thing on the door to your office, and
Like even who was the guy at CNN that had the secret locking mechanism under his desk?
I thought that was Matt Lauer. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Matt Lauer from
Yes.
like NBC or CBS.
That's right. And he pulled the blinds.
I mean, and okay, so the internet says that guys like you and I are incels because we think this is stupid and doesn't belong in a child show. And they say, "Oh, okay, you're okay with She-Hulk beating people up, but you're not okay with her twerking with Megan the Stallion." And actually, yes,
Yes,
that is,
because you're the same people that argue that a person's worldview is backwards if they are pro death penalty and anti-abortion. You're a person who is against killing murderers and for killing babies. That's who you are. Now, what makes this in particular loathsome? We're dealing with Megan the Stallion here and She-Hulk. Now, She-Hulk is supposed to be an icon of feminism. And when I say that, I mean She-Hulk is supposed to represent the idea that a woman can have it all.
including green skin.
Including green skin. But the idea that you can be a woman and despite all the horrible barriers put in your way by the evil patriarchy, you know, the scary mad man monster from forever ago, despite all of the scary stuff, you can climb the corporate ladder and be successful in the corporate world. Now, she's not a mother, she doesn't have children, etc., but she's supposed to be an icon of the empowered woman, as in, you don't have to use your sex to climb the ladder. You don't have to sleep with Willie Brown. You don't have to be a spit roast to get elected to vice president. You don't have to just be a prostitute in order to be successful in the business world as a woman. That's what She-Hulk is supposed to represent in theory. Now, Megan the Stallion is of WAP fame. And I'm not even going to spell, if you know, you know, W.A.P. The WAP song is a grotesque music video with lots of really
grotesque things.
on the nose imagery based around flooding and doorways. And the theme of the song is that you're a woman, you should weaponize your vagina in order to make a man, and they say this very explicitly in the song, in order to make a man pay for your house, buy you a car, pay for you to go to college, etc., etc., etc. That you should use your sex as a weapon to coerce currency from men. So you've got a very mixed message here, and more to the point, this, you know, goes back to everything I can do not to hit the button will convert your children. That's what you're looking at. You're being exposed to the weaponization of a woman's sex. They are promoting professional prostitution. Disney, let me be clear about that. Disney specifically is explicitly promoting prostitution to your children.
So, just a couple of things. First of all, Megan the Stallion. Should somebody tell him that stallions are the male horse? I mean, like just by the by. Okay. I guess Megan the Nightmare doesn't have the same ring to it, but it would be more.
No, it doesn't.
But it would be more accurate, at least one would hope. But then there's a whole nother layer to this. In fact, there's
strikers rallying for the helicopter ride vote.
So anyhow, there's multiple layers to this. Not only are we incels because we don't think this belongs in what's essentially a children's show, okay? And people say, oh, there's sex jokes hidden in Shrek, and yes, they're hidden in Shrek, okay?
Right.
It's so there's nothing hidden about that. Like somebody literally animated. And then
You are way more fun than my last lawyer. I will kill for you, Megan the Stallion. Dial it back.
Anyhow, okay, but then there's this whole thing where She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall. Like there's commentary where she talks directly to the audience, and so part of the meta commentary here is that, oh, this is normal. This is exactly how you should act and talk and think. And then as your children watch it, all they got to do, if they have not yet been exposed to the trash that is Megan the Stallion, and everything that goes along with it, they just Google her. And one of the very first things that's going to come up if you Google her is the live performance that she did of WAP, where she rubbed hoo-haws on stage while performing the song. Like, there's not a lot of gray area here, okay? And so you've got this meta commentary where they actually refer to her as Megan the Stallion. You know, she's normal.
Yeah.
Like shaking your ass in your office just cause is do what? What's wrong with you, man? Doesn't everybody do that? And finally, here's the thing that's really baffling to me. Dudes wrote The Winter Soldier.
Yep.
These are other Marvel properties in which Black Widow was a fantastic, complex character. Dudes wrote Infinity War, again, in which, in fact, not just Black Widow, but the Scarlet Witch, many female superheroes, complex characters that had a lot of strength and power, and nobody rolled their eyes at it. Dudes wrote that. Chicks are writing this. And here's what I just don't entirely understand. Why are chicks writing this? Like we've got your mom and we've got Jen DF, and Scrimshaw Rose, who I'm going to assume is a woman. Like if they wrote this, they wouldn't feel the need to include a twerking scene because, and I mean this seriously, what does it accomplish? What's it there for other than deliberately trying to be offensive? Not funny, just subversive, but what's the point of the subversion? What are you saying? Because I feel like when I see shit like that, I don't think it's that big of a leap to start questioning the 19th Amendment. Like, I really don't. If that makes me an ass.
Stryker brings up the female montage in Infinity War.
No, in Endgame.
It was Endgame, not Infinity War.
I didn't reference Endgame on purpose, brother.
And he, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, the female montage in Endgame, it's funny because, yeah, they have this moment where they're in the big battle, and suddenly all the female superheroes come in. They're like, we're gonna save the day,
and then they don't.
And they even go so far as to have Miss MacGuffin herself, Miss Marvel, right? Captain Marvel, who's just so incredibly overpowered. I mean, Mary Sue from the word go is part of this female power core that's gonna come in and save the day. And they make a lot of flashy, and then they don't accomplish.
Then they don't
anything.
actually save the day.
They don't do anything. In fact, they fail. They bring in this big end game montage of female-powered superheroes, and then Iron Man has to come and save their asses because they screw it up. That.
Okay, see, so I went and saw it with my 2 older children, one of which is a daughter, and she was sitting next to me, and when that happened, she actually said out loud, "Oh, of course they've got to have a shot of the women." And this was a teenage girl who was even like, and
she's basically the target market for that.
she's the target market, and instead she was like, "Can you please not pander to me like I'm stupid?" Like, she didn't say those words because she was like 13 at the time, but that's what she meant. She meant, don't treat me like I'm stupid. Don't do that. So,
there was another point I wanted to make about the She-Hulk thing, but I think
oh yes, let's just tear through it really quickly because it's funny. Because get woke, go broke, and if you cultivate the woke audience, if you virtue signal to the left, eventually they eat you. That's one reason why we covered Lindsay Ellis about 6 months ago, because she actually was a educated and talented film analyst, and because she wasn't woke enough, because she accurately compared American cartoons that are modeled after anime to actual anime, she ended up getting canceled and just taking herself off of YouTube and Twitter and everything else. There's a whole career there that's just gone to her. So, yeah.
Well, so She-Hulk faces new controversy for having no Latin American characters, despite show being based in Los Angeles. And She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law was doing good until recently, when the people started hating on her for twerking with Megan Thee Stallion in one of the post-credit scenes of the show. Despite the director of the show saying she does not want to sexualize her female characters, it keeps happening. That's because there's something wrong with you, sweetheart. The series also gained controversy for not depicting Latin Americans in it, despite 48% of the population in Los Angeles being Latin American.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to
have money to hire Megan Thee Stallion, but not to pay for VXF.
Well, that WAP comes cheap.
Apparently. I think what you meant is that WAP is cheap.
I'm just gonna let however you want to interpret that is how you want to interpret that. Okay,
it's like a triple cheeseburger at McDonald's. You're not getting what you're paying for.
Okay, Ihan, it looks like an eyeball, so I'm going to say Ihan says She-Hulk needs an ass guardian. Maybe a cameo with Idris Elba fix this. That's actually kind of funny. And then Willow Bar says they're all about moving cheese, not just to another exit, but a whole different maze. That's actually not a bad way to put it, because as soon as you learn the thing that the left wants you to learn, they're on to the next thing, and then on to the next thing.
Have you ever read Who Moved My Cheese?
No.
I think I've got a copy of it upstairs. You should.
But yeah, and now because Los Angeles has a population of 4.8 million Latin Americans, like, okay, seriously, this is why you should just not give a shit about the wokes, because you can never please them. Ever.
What multiverse is She-Hulk in where there are no Mexicans in Los Angeles? Because I want to move there. I mean, what?
That would be
Hollywood. The no Latino writers on the show multiverse. You know what? I hadn't even planned on talking about that. I'll just mention it briefly. We do films. We do camera work. We make videos, movies, commercials, et cetera, with our company, East Atlanta Video. And let me tell you something. If you go look at the basically job postings for film work generally in Georgia, you will see one right after the other. Basically, straight white man need not apply. They'll phrase it more carefully than that, but they basically say straight white man need not apply. If you don't have, it's not sufficient that you're woke. It's not sufficient that you're lefty. You have to have an immutable characteristic that differentiates you from straight white man. And it's disgusting. It's illegal. And nobody will fight it. Nobody will prosecute it. No judge will take up a case, a civil rights case, on the basis that straight white men are discriminated against in Hollywood and in Yollywood more locally.
Yeah, Sean Stryker helped us put a button on it. She-Hulk will have Latinos. They can visit the Pelosi estate. Sure, Loomer left some there.
Oh.
But who else is going to do my lawn?
All right, I'll enable ads for...
Oh, dude, I'm Uncle Dill's baby babes. God, this is. I mean, it's evergreen. It'll still be super creepy next week, but
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We're not going to spend too much time on we has rangs.
We was quains.
We has rangs.
No, we was quains.
Quains.
Not kangs.
So
quains.
I want y'all to take a look at this Lord of the Rings of Power tomato meter score. I read an article earlier that said they had nearly 25 million viewers on the premiere episode of The Rings of Power. Guys, just don't watch it. Okay? You know, same thing with She-Hulk. Just don't watch it. Same thing with the Disney Star Wars movies. I haven't even seen the third one, and I won't. I'm not going to bother with it. You will not get my time or attention on that film, because there are a lot of fanboys that are going to watch this just because it's Rings of Power, just because it's a Lord of the Rings property in theory.
They want it to be good.
And exactly. I wanted this to be good. I loved the Lord of the Rings films, right? I haven't read the books in 2.5 decades.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed the films. There were some problems, but they were fun. They were good. People will watch this because it's Lord of the Rings, and they just want a little bit more of that nostalgia. And that is what the enemy is banking on, is you wanting just a little taste of the nostalgia, right? It's a perfect apple pie. Never mind the cyanide. You loved it when you were a kid.
Cyanide? How did I grow up?
There wasn't cyanide in it when you were a child.
I know.
It was good then.
Don't step on my joke. Come on, man. I was trying to play.
Anyway.
I was trying to play a part.
But you look at the tomato meter score, and you've got an 85% average on the tomato meter and a 39% average audience score. No surprise, the critics love it, and the audience hates it. And
the critics
see this
claim
often.
To love it.
Exactly. The critics don't love the film. The critics are paid to say, or the series, but the critics are paid to say that the film is good in order to boost the viewership of the film so that you can advance the message. The critics are paid to like the film. The audience, who is not paid to like the film, who rather pays to watch it, hates it. And it's...
Well, and you're a bigot.
It's just trash.
And you're a bigot. Yeah. Like, that's the thing of it is, like, the movies were true to the spirit of what Tolkien was going for. Did they follow every teeny tiny plot point?
They did not.
But did they basically stay true to the themes and the overall story? Yes. That's part of what made the movies successful. Okay. So when you go through and you take something that's based on essentially that's a hodgepodge of European mythology, kind of remixed with Christianity, and then you put a bunch of diversity hires in it and have women be stronger than men.
You mean like beardless black female dwarves and Tom Bombadildo.
Yeah, sort of. When you do that, like you're shitting all over the ideas that Tolkien was trying to put forward. And look, if you want to have a fantasy world that's got a bunch of different colors in it, look, that's fine. There's all these universes you can play around in. There's all these sandboxes that you can play around in. But when you take something that means a thing, it means a really specific thing, and then you shit all over it, and you go, wait, what? What's your problem? Oh, you're the bigot. Or your writing is weak.
Yeah, I mean,
and you know your writing is weak, so you've spent, what was it, like $150 million on this series?
Something like
Something insane.
Here's the thought. If you want representation, if you want to see the characters that you want to see represented on the screen, write it. Write it. But you're not going to do that. You're not going to create something original and interesting, because the most interesting thing about you is some immutable characteristic or some bizarre life choice that you've made. You're not an interesting, creative, valuable human being. You are entirely the sum of your composition. You've never had a valuable thought in your life, and that's why you can't create. You are the moocher class. You can only destroy.
Call Me Chatto said that Hollywood hates the man-child, which is essentially what you and I are, because we allow our imaginations to go certain places. God, that drives me ape shit. Hollywood hates the man-child because we can have an imagination and be happy with it. That it's okay to have a laser sword, just be a laser sword on a farm boy and he saves the day, and that there really doesn't have to be a whole lot more to it. There could be some vague allegory.
Yeah,
to
give me
Jesus.
space wizards and magic orphans.
I don't have a problem with Black Jedi. When you said that Samuel L. Jackson was going to be Master Mace Windu, I was like, I was in. I was like, sign me up. Like, that's the problem is when you club me over the face with it and act like somehow that is the point. So yeah. In news that surprised absolutely nobody,
I am. However you want us to say that. Franchises are not coming easily, and it is an important economy. Killing them should be an important crime. Yes, indeed.
I mean, there's some if to that. An actual franchise, if you were going to, like, Star Trek ran for decades.
Indeed.
Until the latest generation of super wokes got a hold of it. Check the thread. There's a better
version.
Yes, there's not this thing. Franchises in and of themselves are not necessarily good or bad. It's just, what are you going to do with it? Oh, we didn't even get to that. Supposedly, the Rings of Power star, what's his name? Roll back up real quick. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Apparently, they're getting all this hate speech in their DMs for being shit.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
I think you're lying.
And then Amazon has decided that from now on, reviews are going to wait 72 hours before they're allowed to go live. And they're going to check and make sure that they're not trolls or anything like that. Oh, God. And then I guarantee you this is pure, distilled, 99.995% grade A, platinum-coated cringe right here.
I'm not going to be happy about this.
I suffered, and so will you, sir.
Okay.
And this is the shortened version of this video.
Okay.
Oh, God! Now imagine this, you have somewhere to be at
Oh,
4
no.
p.m. and you're
What did you
sitting
do?
in your car at 3:40 p.m.
No, that's not
just
supposed to be the one.
spending 20 minutes trying to figure out why this is so cringe, and you think you finally cracked the code. The reason we all think this is so cringe is it's like the uncanny valley of human speech. It's so slow and loud, and no one talks like this. It's the same thing for the Polar
This is
Express,
not
where it's
what I
like some
meant to
people.
send you.
But this dude's not wrong,
No, he's not wrong.
but he's also super cringe.
The irony. Maybe we should watch the shit version, because
Nope. I think we've blown right past time. We may just have to try that one again later.
okay, I promise it's still going to be the cringiest thing ever.
I was not prepared for this either.
I was not prepared for this to go the direction that it went, but okay.
Was fair.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna call it a day right there. Thanks for watching, guys. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.